who are you? What do you represent? What do you stand up for? Or are you that far gone that it doesn't even matter anymore?
Culture was, who cares? Let's party, let's hang out, let's
hip hop. The media is telling you, hey, follow this, or hey, hate this person, don't like this person, and you're that easily directed.
It's not only unique to the United States of America. And if you think that, you're completely ignorant and you don't know what you're talking about.
We're intentionally being directed in a wicked direction.
Spiritual side is what most people don't even believe in.
When you can't control your emotions and you act like this, it speaks numbers and it tells us everything we need to know.
Once we lose that interaction, once we lose that feeling for each other, we become monsters.
The Roman Feathers Podcast.
Humans, how do we get here? It's been just over a week since Charlie Kirk's assassination, and the stuff that we're seeing online is disgusting.
And so disturbing to see. But what's crazy to me is that people are showing their true colors, and we're seeing that grown people can't control their emotions, and they're celebrating something so violent, something so evil, and it's just not right. It seems odd. What's going on?
How do we get here where we celebrate a man's death?
But I literally have never said anything to invoke violence, and I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
They expect Democrats to kind of be the nice guys that we are. They expect us to take the punch and say thank you. Well, I am here to tell you, not only are we going to punch back, but we about to beat you down.
The inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" Catch!
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
And shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We're at war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find...
Whoa. How do you promote this ideology and claim to be the party of peace and acceptance, and yet you talk like this? Your leaders speak like this. Now, of course, you can go and say the Republicans do it, but they don't. What they do is they fight about policy and argue about what your ideas are. It's been my experience when I talk to someone who believes in these type of policies, when it comes down to actually talking policy, they run away. I've been blocked by people. I've had people get mean and vile to me for asking questions.
Or at least trying to direct them to see more of the clip or more of the context that they're bringing up. And that to me is very dangerous, because I don't get upset. I don't sit here and like run to force it on you. I'm just saying, okay, the point that you're making is valid, but let's dig deeper. I don't think that's bad. I think we should do that together.
When you label people you disagree with as fascists, anti-democratic, you are giving people permission to treat us like shit, to hurt us, to kill us, to ban us. You're literally not accepting democracy in these situations. And yet you're saying the other side is the threat to democracy. It's complete backwards thought. It's hypocrisy. It's like your definition of democracy is only when your side wins. And that's just not how it works. Right. We saw Biden win, even though I think there were things that were off about these elections. You didn't see Republicans or conservatives or independents rioting and revolting. We just spoke. We wanted to speak our piece. Say, hey man, there's shit that didn't make sense here. But we weren't saying death to democracy, and
which is what freedom of speech is. You're free to give your opinion, whether it's heard or not. It should still be okay to speak. To me, it's the hypocrisy. Like, how can you say you're not doing something when there's clear evidence that you do it? And in the followers, you would imagine that you can think for yourself and be like, wait a minute, she said this, but now she's saying this, something's not right. You know, at least question it. You can still support them, you can still follow them, but be upfront with the truth. truth. Be in the truth.
This is what it leads to. That type of say one thing here, but say another thing here creates these crazy people that aren't in touch with reality, and they're just so focused on their ideology. That's all they care about. It becomes their religion.
And you can't fix anything with that behavior, with that attitude, with that intent.
Because you're no longer accepting.
Yeah. So you're only one-sided.
Yeah, it's either us or nothing.
So wouldn't that be the definition of radical?
Fascist? Fascist much? Let's look at some people that these types of politicians and celebrities, I guess, create.
And you see somebody with a MAGA hat? Pew pew. Because people like that respond to fear and terror and aggression, not logic and empathy and, I don't know, intelligence. It doesn't work for them. So fear works. So if we all get our guns and use our Second Amendment right and our common sense, at this point this administration is begging us to rise up and revolt.
I was not kidding when I said if you were gonna get the job done, there were two better candidates.
Weird. What's she talking about? Z.
And furthermore, when that happens, and it will. It will.
Look.
Not only will we be insensitive, that'll be the least.
Is this a real look? It's a real
demon.
That is the devil inside of you. Look at her.
But it's gonna be the biggest fucking celebration.
You know, to the Charlie Kirk family. Did you see all that that came out of his body? It was like, whoa. To every Zionist, every Christian Zionist, may you be just like that shop that all his followers, just like the shop that.
If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear.
My goodness. So that's beyond emotional. That feels a little demonic.
It's dark.
Are you guys seeing this? This is real time.
Because it wasn't just those little clips that we showed.
No, there's hundreds of these.
And then the jokes after them and the people dancing. I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Well, some people are calling for his wife to get taken out too.
And the kids.
Dude, I mean, this is what we're talking about, humans. What are we doing?
How are we able to label someone something, and then when you ask for the receipts, they're so sketchy on the receipts, because it's not that the guy was over here saying, you know, I think blacks need to be separated and whites need to be separated and we need to get the Mexicans out of the country. No, when you actually go look at context, everything is actually nuanced and everything is actually explained very well what the stance is. But yet people cherry pick from headlines and don't even do the research and then go and label someone a racist, a Nazi, a fascist. Like, what are we doing?
But also, I didn't see any violence come out of this from the right, I guess, you know, because it's like that's what this has become. Some of you people are making it more political than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But there has been prayer instead.
This is true.
Peace. We're just kind of like exposing this in a way because it's just unbelievable. It's leaving people in a state of like
shock.
Shock.
Like, how could somebody do this? People were literally having vigils for Charlie Kirk. And then there were people coming and laughing at it, mocking it. There's people that had little areas dedicated for Charlie Kirk and people desecrating it, painting over it, farting on it. And this is our youth doing this shit too. Like, if y'all want to have a future of civility where we can have different groups of people coexist together, this is not the way. And I'm not one of those people that's like, well, if you're silent, you're the problem. No, because silence speaks volumes in the terms of peace.
Yeah. But when you can't control your emotions and you act like this, it speaks numbers and it tells us everything we need to know. This is our community. We failed as a nation. We failed as a community for the youth. It feels bad. It's not a good feeling. And I know you guys see it too, you know, but it's like some of y'all are afraid to speak up now because you feel like you've gone too far. But no, it's never too late.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think why we at Ruffled Feathers are so adamant about bringing these things to light is because this type of conversation is frowned upon, or this type of conversation is the fringe. When really, I think and I feel in my heart of hearts that most people understand what we're saying. Most people are actually thirsty for this type of content. When you see ugliness like this, because you've been so blind to what has been going on around you, you're taken off guard. We've been seeing people wake up and see like, oh shit, this Charlie Kirk guy must have been an asshole. And then they go research him and it's like, this is who y'all killed?
And that's why it's dangerous to take stuff out of context. Because you get a 15-second clip, but if you watch it for the next minute, before or after, you see the truth. Mm-hmm. And this is where people are choosing to close their eyes or close their ears. How is this okay? Like, we're supposed to be mature. We're supposed to be grown in the human decency that is lacking in us. We're not perfect, and there's no human in existence that's without error. But this is why we need one another. And this is why correction is proper, and also like calling out stuff like this. Like, man, no, this is not right. Like, we don't ridicule the death of anybody or the call for violence, the call for war, even within our nation. When there's so much evil already going around in the world. We've been in the past decade or two, we've seen that we're being desensitized from murder, crime, racism. That's where we're at today. We're not sensitive to delicate issues like this. That was a vicious, graphic murder or assassination. Back in the day, like, people would be shocked at that video. It kind of left like silent. Now we're seeing the opposite. Yeah. So where does the spiritual come into this? The spiritual war?
I mean, I think that's kind of the blanket to all of this. The spiritual side is what most people don't even believe in these days. How else do we explain what we're seeing in real time? To see someone murdered in front of his children, in front of hundreds of people, in front of other kids, and then to take that approach or that reaction to it is evil, is dark, is whatever you want to call it. It's just not right. And then for people who weren't even there to take the time to hit the record button and make a TikTok, make a reel, and dedicate time to make something against that evilness is even almost as just as evil as the person who pulled the trigger.
Because you're condoning it. And then you're encouraging to keep it going. It's hurtful. And I think, here at the Ruffled Feathers podcast, we are in shock. This is what the whole movement is all about. The point behind all of it is that we want to bring unity back. We want to make sure that whether we have political differences, other views that we don't agree on, it's okay. But still, at some point, we should come back to that togetherness.
And this is why Charlie Kirk was so important to this movement. To me, personally, I've been following him since the early 2010s. I guess unintentionally was one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, because it's important for us to continue to speak to each other as humans, because once we lose that interaction, once we lose that feeling for each other, we become monsters, we become animals, and that violence isn't natural. It isn't what we should resort to. And if you have young kids and you have friends and family and old people that you want to see safe, this is not the road to that. Y'all don't get it. And it's not that you need to stay silent. If you have an opinion, it's okay to express it. And things like this shouldn't make you fearful to express that, hey, you know what? You think that, but I kind of disagree. And this is why. Like, we need to get to understanding, communicating, and then just conversing about it. And not taking it to a degree where you don't even want to listen anymore and you want to walk away. Or you want to block someone. Or you want to stop inviting them to dinner with the family. That's separating, and that only benefits one group of people, I promise you. And it's not us, it's the people on top that are playing us like fools.
And then we're left in the same place, no progressing, no advancing.
We digress, we go backwards,
and we give them more power and more reason to rule the world.
That's the end game.
That's the end game.
They want to snap the finger. We want to watch this little video that is showing the direction, if we continue to do this, what the end result might be. This is the antithesis of that future.
I have the best news ever.
Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged!
Oh my God. Okay, that's heavy. How old is the oldest, would you say?
9, 10.
And her first initial thought about good news was the president got taken out.
Second vice president, third Elon Musk, and then it becomes, actually no, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are getting married.
This is not okay, people.
Hate is not natural. Hate is taught. These kids should have had a totally different response to what her mom's big secret was.
Little pure innocent kids. You know, where do you get that from? This is how they're talking at home. You're passing down that hate. You're passing down that nastiness. Listen to her. She's like laughing about it. Okay, second. Okay, third. Like this is like funny. It's not funny.
That's indoctrination. Those kids are my kids' age. So if my kids have a different opinion than those kids, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think we're gonna have peace in the future? This is why I get so, not emotional, but I'm just so connected with these issues, because most of y'all don't understand what privilege we have here. And most of y'all don't understand what true violence is. You might see it on TV, you might hear it on the news, but when someone has a true anger towards you and really wants to hurt you, that makes you look at life way different, especially when it truly happens to you. And we are that privileged in this country where we don't deal with car bombs, suicide bombers, missiles, blowing up buildings and schools. Our mass murders are very small in terms of percentage of population.
I'm left with no words, honestly. Being an American, it feels like the last true free country. In the last few months, in the last few years, we've seen that it's dying out and it's slowly being taken away. With people being manipulated the way that we've been manipulated lately, it's going to get to that point. And then it's going to be too late, because then the masses won't be able to stand up for what's right, for what's decent.
Because we'll be so manipulated. And we are already maybe halfway, a quarter of the way, 3/4 of the way. I can't tell.
That's
because
too far already.
Yeah.
Who's okay with this? Somebody is puppeteering us. The free thinkers are dying out. The media is telling you, hey, follow this, or hey, hate this person, don't like this person, and you're that easily driven or directed, then who are you? What do you represent? What do you stand up for? Or are you that far gone that it doesn't even matter anymore? And then that leaves out independency, being an individual that can think for themselves, that can notice when something's not right, when something's off, or when we're intentionally being directed in a wicked direction, because that's really what it is.
And it brings up cancellation. The hypocrisy again, it's like the left canceled Donald J. Trump for questioning the narrative of the election. They canceled news reporters who reported stories about a laptop that could have had illegal activity by the candidate that was running against him. They canceled people for having opinions or tweets because they were conservative. And now leftists are getting canceled, not for policy questions, but because they're celebrating death. Like, it's not apples to apples. The crazy thing is, I don't promote any cancellation. I still believe in free speech. I still believe those idiots who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death should be able to do that, because now we get to see who you really are. Same with Trump. If he wanted to say, hey, this election seems off and rigged, he should be able to say that, because I truly felt that way. Whether you think I'm right or not, I have the right to say that. Not you. You're not the bearer of truth. Truth is gray in a lot of situations when it comes to things that you can't prove and I can't prove, or I have proof or you have proof. That's why things go to court.
The left has no problem saying the right is this, the right is that, the right does this, the right things like this, but look at how vicious they're attacking, how intense their speech is when they get involved in these type of conversations, right, with these topics. It's so easy to say, no, I didn't say that, even though we have video and evidence and proof that you did say that. And then for them to just brush it off as it's nothing, that in its own is evil.
It's gaslighting.
And it's snake-like. Look somebody in the face and say, nah, well, that's not what I meant. Or twist words.
I think what we don't realize is the people who run our government, our celebrities, our Hollywood elite, all these people are, in my opinion, I wouldn't say all of them, but a majority of them are psychopaths. They don't care about us. They're all multimillionaires or higher, and yet they're pinning us regular folks against each other while they sit in their Hollywood mansions, in their multi-million-dollar homes in Washington, D.C., getting paid way more than they should for being artists or being politicians, public servants. Stock trading with information on the inside while we're over here guessing. When are we going to wake up and realize that they are not on our side? And I'm not saying Trump is the guy. I'm not saying that. I also have quarrels with him, especially this administration, especially this time around compared to 2016. But that doesn't mean I'm blindly following. I'm using my mind. I'm interpreting information on the daily, always changing my perception on what my thoughts are. But a lot of you won't do that. You're not willing to do that, and I don't get why.
Mm-hmm. And it's okay to be wrong, you know? But it's also okay to say, I like this person, but I don't like this specific whatever. That is where it becomes dangerous. If you claim to be the party of tolerance and you can't put your pride to the side during a time of mourning, quiet yourself. They can't do it. They have to speak up. They say like the loudest person in the room is the weakest.
They're pretty loud.
Right. I personally do like Charlie Kirk. He believed in America. He believed in people. He believed in equality. But they don't want to admit that. They don't want to accept that. They call him a racist, a Nazi, a fascist. What else you call it?
I mean, they throw every name out there negative.
Because he had a platform that gave him a louder voice. That's just the way of the world. Everybody has the ability to do that today. Pick up a phone and state your mind, which is what these people are doing.
Yeah, and he created that on his own. He went to campuses and had tables set up and asked you to prove him wrong, to state your opinion, to let's have the conversation peacefully.
And repeatedly ask people to be respectful. How are those not signs of somebody that has somewhat good intentions? Yeah, he made some statements that could appear racist. These people, again, have used it out of context. Because, I mean, there was some stuff that I caught and I was like, whoa, this don't sound right. But then I went and watched the full clip or the full episode and it was just kind of like, okay, it makes sense.
I still might not agree. It's not racism.
Yeah, and it wasn't hateful. Like I didn't see it as hateful. We are free to express ourselves. And how much longer is that going to be allowed? If this continues, you know, we saw Jimmy Kimmel get canceled. Now they're saying cancel your Hulu account, cancel your Disney account because they let go of Jimmy Kimmel over free speech. So okay, in this situation, I am against that because free speech should be just that. We are in the land of the free, and one of our amendments is that we can talk and say whatever we want to. Obviously, hateful comments or hateful statements should not be okay. Now, we're seeing the other side of that people are losing their jobs, and then they still don't hold themselves accountable. I'm hearing, y'all got me fired from my job. Not, I made a mistake, I made a dumb comment, and I got myself fired. I'm yet to see one of those videos.
These are private companies they work for who have that ability to say, hey, you know what? I don't want a person working for me who's dancing on someone's grave. And that's your right to do that. But there's repercussions from it. Now, the double-edged sword with this comes with what this administration is doing with trying to create hate speech laws, which I do not agree with. Hate speech laws, again, give the government more power. And that's what we're against. So if you can't see that I'm willing to say, hey, the side that I am on, quote unquote, is doing something wrong, I'm willing to call it out. We're not seeing that on the left. And if we do see it on the left cancels that person. The left says, you're not with us. And it's just like, we got to see what this cancer is, who it's affected, and realize these people need help. Realize these people are demented or are demonic or are possessed, or are just not seeing clearly, and realize the people in the middle, the center right, that's where most people are today. And that's okay. I think most of us just want to live, be free, not really have to worry about all this political bullshit, and coexist.
With respect of faith, religion, beliefs, nationality, we all come from different parts of the world. And we have things that kind of separate us because of that, which is what, culture, I guess? Before that, to me, we're human. And we're brothers and sisters. When you mention who gets hurt, I personally think we all end up hurting at the end of it all. Say, for instance, this lady said, you see a MAGA, shoot a MAGA. What if that just gave that person a little bit more reason and more, okay, this might be okay?
Yeah, there's people that believe in me to go do this.
Or agree with what I believe in. When has violence brought peace?
Right.
Well, in this case, in a way it did, because we're seeing around the world millions of people gathering in the name of Christ, or in the name of a person that believes in Christ, or peace, or unity.
Just humanity.
Humanity.
Humans, we all bleed red. It doesn't matter what color you are. If I need your kidney, you can give it to me. If you need the certain type of blood type, it doesn't matter what skin color you are, you can use that. If you need a heart transplant, there's no, are you black? You have to have a black heart. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like that
But
shit.
I mean, we've seen it in a catastrophe where everybody unites. And everybody comes together and gets people out of the water. You're my brother, you're my sister, give me your hand.
We've seen it here in Houston. It has to be outside of government to have social peace. You can't legislate that. The privilege that we have and understanding the violence that comes with humanity, you can't have someone create laws on that in terms of how we speak to each other. This is why when tragedies like this happen, governments take more power. During the 9/11 attacks, they created the Patriot Act, which meant they got to surveil anyone they wanted to if they deemed them a threat. In this situation with Charlie Kirk, they're trying to say, hey, if you have hate speech and we deem it negative, we can now censor you or we can send you to jail. Like, these are outreach. We have to be able to police each other socially when it comes to how we speak to each other. We can't give that power to someone. It may be our side that's saying, hey, that's hate speech. But after 4 years, y'all win, it's back on us now. And then no one wins. It's always taken advantage of. The government never relinquishes power. It just never has happened. And if y'all can't open your eyes up to realize the government is taking as much as they can year after year after year after year, we're all gonna be fucked.
And it's like in intervals too. Oh, now we're happy, now we're sad, now we're at war, now we're back at it. Yeah, we won. Like, I mean, I can remember when the election happened, you know, we were more towards the right, and I don't remember celebrating. I personally didn't post any videos saying, oh, finally.
I'm not gonna lie. I made a video, but I didn't post it because I realized that's not what we need.
But see, that's accountability. You
Right.
took a second to think.
My emotional reaction was,
It was selfish, right? It was
Yeah.
selfish to make the video, but it would have been more selfish to post it, but it was selfless to not post it.
right.
That's my belief.
That was my belief for not posting it.
Yeah, and it's big. There's been plenty of times where I'm writing a comment and then I start deleting it because I realize it's my emotions speaking. Am I being hateful? Am I being loving? Is that my true self? And it's not. And that's when we let those demons in, even if it's for a small moment or a small window, but it's like, who am I going to hurt? What is my statement going to create? Because words do have power. We have influence on other people, just like people have influence on us. And again, if people are making these videos and there's hundreds of videos calling for violence, somebody might take action. And we've seen it.
Or you're seeing, like, look, I got an army of people who believe in what I believe in, and that's destruction and anarchy. And we don't realize we've given platforms and mics to some of the most vile, hateful people. And because they're so wicked and crazy and random, we're attracted to seeing that. That's why we like weird movies and violent movies.
Absolutely.
And that's why you can get 100 comments of, man, you did badass today. And then that one comment that was negative is the only one you harp on. Is the only one you're like, fuck that, what the fuck?
A man should be strong, but then also there's nothing wrong with a man being delicate or sensitive. That's kind of what balances the man out and makes the man more powerful, to be vulnerable.
When a man is not vulnerable, when a man is not sensitive, he becomes dangerous.
In a bad way.
Well, danger is
Yeah.
danger. Like, that type of person will kill you. He will not care what he does to other people. The importance of owning guns isn't just to protect people on a one-on-one scale, but it's to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government, which we're already seeing that has so much overreach. We're decades away, we're generations away from full-blown government takeover.
And y'all don't want to see that. Y'all don't, because if y'all mad now, it's gonna be too late then. Like you're not gonna be able to speak your mind. You're gonna be able to say, okay, wait a minute, I didn't know it was gonna get like this. It's gonna be too late. And the thing is that we're seeing that these same people control the media, control the social media, control the radios, control the movies, control the cartoons, control the food, the medicine. And it's too late already for that. You can't have a holistic doctor practice legally.
Yeah, no,
they don't
you
like
can't.
that.
They don't like that.
That's why this is so important to talk about and to discuss, because, okay, if you've been asleep for so long, it's time to wake up and let's talk, and it's time to research, and it's time to catch up.
People need to realize death is inevitable. Death always comes to us. And the other thing that is inevitable is man's willingness or urge to control other people. And none of those two things are ever going to stop. People dying and people trying to take over other people. That's a tale of history. Whether it was the Native Americans taking over other tribes, whether it was the colonization, whether it was African tribes taking over African tribes, it's not only unique to the United States of America. And if you think that, you're completely ignorant and you don't know what you're talking about.
And we see mild cases of that here, you know, because on the other side of the world it's been happening for thousands of years. These are those aggressors, and it's like this is the people that want power. To a certain extent, all humans want to have some kind of control, want to have some kind of power, but also to know those limits. To know that too much power is too dangerous. With great power comes great responsibility, but never want to be held accountable.
That's my whole point, is there's always that human aspect of wanting to take control. That's our sin that we've been living over and over and over again. And that's never going to change. And if you think taking away guns is going to change that, you're completely misguided in your logic. What needs to happen is we need to attack the mind. We need to let the mind realize, hey, the only way to get rid of guns is to be more open, is to be more peaceful, is to be more accepting of different ideas.
Trusting. You gotta have people that you can trust. I do believe that at some point we need a higher power or a government, somebody to govern, somebody to say these are the laws, this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed. I think that is necessary. There are good people that are target practicing right now. Somebody with a gun that's righteous or that's a protector knows when the right time to use it. And then you have these victims that don't know when they're truly in danger or in a situation of do or die, and then they act irrational.
At the end of the day, man, all we want is peace. We got to realize evil, bad intentions, whatever you want to call it, is never going to stop. Especially when good people are restricted from protecting, when good people are restricted from speaking to truth.
Or when you call evil good and good evil, which I feel we're there.
Definitions matter. You can't change a word without consent of the people. You can't say a man is a woman and a woman is a man without the general consensus of the community saying, okay, if that's the way we're gonna move forward, we'll stamp that in, and now a man can be anything, and now a woman can be anything. That doesn't mean a transgender is inhuman or is beneath us. They are still human, and I still want to talk to you, and I'm still friends with you. Trust me, I'm friends with people like that, and if they think this is insensitive, then I've had these conversations with them.
Let's talk.
The crazy thing is, starting Ruffled Feathers, I wanted to speak with so many people who disagreed with my ideas, and I think we're both realizing it's so hard to get people like that to actually talk to us.
Right, because they have a lot to say. But when it's time to give you that chance to
express yourself,
and let your voice be heard, you don't know who you're gonna reach, who you're gonna move, who you're gonna touch, whose world you're gonna change.
I think they're fearful that their mind might change, which means the group that they hang out with might see them differently.
Because it's not about humiliation, embarrassing anybody. Like that's never the case. It's about bringing to the light what's right and what's wrong. It is a crazy times that we live in, like you were saying, peace, man. Let's have our different opinions, but let's coexist.
If you're strong enough to reach out to someone that you've deleted on Facebook or you've stopped talking to because they thought differently than you, try to have a conversation. Obviously, there's emotional people on both sides who won't listen. That's okay, but at least make the effort to make the amends, because before 2012, probably even earlier than that, race relations were awesome. Relationships between people were awesome. We weren't inflicted and injected with this racial war, culture war. Culture was, who cares? Let's party, let's hang out, let's hip hop.
Yeah, let's freaking go outside and play. What's more powerful? Hate or love, or unity or division?
We have to remember that these phones are a powerful tool, but they're also a powerful brainwashing tool. Social medias and algorithms, they keep us in our think tanks, they keep us in our tunnels with just our groups, and that's what's separating us. And I want to believe in my heart of hearts that we truly do care for each other, that we truly do want to hear our differences of opinions. And to all the friends that I've lost, to all the people that have blocked me because I've asked questions, I ask you to man up or woman up or whatever, and look yourself in the mirror and say, have you tried to think outside the box or the tunnel that you live in? Because I have. I know your arguments. I've listened to your arguments. I understand and almost agree with most of your arguments, but we differ on the importance on where those arguments lead the whole country or the whole people. Maybe that's for the episode on the podcast if y'all want to get on. I think we want to leave with some positivity.
Absolutely. We're seeing this darkness and this evil, hateful comments because this is true hateful comments. For you to celebrate somebody's death and to go above and beyond to say how happy this made you, there is another side to that. We are seeing people that didn't necessarily agree with Charlie Kirk or his beliefs or whatever his stands are. We're seeing that people are still sensitive to what happened and are putting the human part of themselves into what's behind this.
I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say.
Yeah.
I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith, and I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it.
I think this is the most important part of this specific segment. It's not too late. We're not too far gone. And it's okay to admit that you made a mistake or that you said something that you didn't mean or that you said something hateful and now you realize it was wrong.
Y'all let us know. Are we crazy? Are we looking too much into this political stuff? Do you feel it? Do you feel what we're feeling? Are you indifferent to it?
Just let us know how you feel. We do want to have people of all beliefs, of all cultures, of all races, of all kinds, all
walks of life
here. If we're being insensitive or if we're being inconsiderate, we want to know that. How can we ever know that if we don't talk in a civilized manner?
As a woman who survived the assassinations of my uncle, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I know all too well the impact of this kind of cowardly act. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and now, while his family and this nation grieve, some are calling him a racist, a white supremacist, even a fake Christian. Such accusations are conversations unbecoming to a Christian. In the final analysis, Charlie stood for life, for faith, and for biblical truth. He wasn't afraid to say the name of Jesus in the public square, and he paid a price for it. Now is not the time to attack Charlie. It's the time to lift up the banner of Christ. As a member of the one blood human race, Charlie Kirk did. His legacy of public discourse, of bringing difficult conversations to the table, mattered. He caused us to think and to pray.